So we are here at the 46th annual IPMI conference here in Orlando, Florida, and we have the pleasure of speaking with Mohammad with PH7 Technologies. So Mohammad, I will let you introduce yourself to the viewers.
Sure. Very glad to be here. I'm Mohammad Doostmohammadi, CEO and founder of PH7 Technologies, a startup company focusing on green extraction and refining of metals, with a focus on precious metals and base metal such as copper. And yeah.
Interesting. What led you to open up the new startup?
The company, yeah. I have a mining engineering background,
okay,
and chemical engineering background. So I have a bachelor in mining engineering, a master in chemical engineering. Started with my career working in a gold mine, using cyanide flotation and lots of chemical processes, designed, implementation during the last 15, 20 years. And joined with the company, working to replace cyanide with some green chemistries. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, I had a couple of friends working on other precious metals with solvents. So they were using solvents. They called me and they said, yeah, we have something, have a look into it. And then we started R&D, they had some idea.
Okay.
And we developed the idea for 2 or 3 years. And that's how actually PH7 started. So using solvent-based chemistry and organic-based chemistry instead of acid-based and inorganic-based chemistry was actually the main idea of PH7 Technologies. And PH7, pH of water, but because we use organic solvents, it's the irony of the name that we have. So we don't use that much of water, but it's PH7. So we appreciate water, and we don't want to generate any wastewater. So that's the main reason of actually starting this company and PH7 Technologies.
Interesting. So it's applicable to primary and secondary metals processing?
Yes. So we are focusing on both mining and recycling, and we can process.
So you have a mining background. That's how it translates.
Yeah, exactly.
I find it interesting. Throughout my whole career in secondary metals, precious metal recovery, we've always looked to the mining sector, the primary mining sector, for their extraction techniques to see how we could downscale it and implement it in secondary. At least that's what I've experienced. And so you're coming from the primary mining sector, and this new technology that you're bringing into the market is twofold to work on both areas.
Correct.
What part of the world were you working in as far as when you began your career early on?
So
you said gold mine, so I'm thinking you were in California with a gold pan.
No, you were a miner, 49er.
I was born in Iran, in a city in the center of Iran called Isfahan.
Isfahan.
Yeah, that's a beautiful city, historic city, thousands of years of history over there. And I was working in a mine 3 hours from Isfahan. Okay. It was a gold mine, actually. That was my first job ever.
Very interesting.
After graduation, actually.
And what led you to that first job? Was it family? Was somebody working there?
No, it was actually. So I had my mining engineering and then master of chemical engineering, and they were looking for someone to go to. I want to experience actually just hands-on experience in the mine.
That's the best kind of experience you can get, hands-on.
It was really good. It was a really good experience, really good learning process that I learned a lot. So they had flotation, they had leaching, cyanide. They did everything from zero to the end of producing the gold actually on site. So that was a great experience.
So what was it? Were they crushing and milling?
Yeah, everything. Just it was an open pit mine.
Okay.
And they did explosion, then mine it, and then mill it, grind it with the different mills.
And so was it vat leaching or was it heap leaching?
No, it was actually, they did concentration after that.
Oh, they did concentration?
Yeah, they did concentration.
Really? So,
flotation.
That's interesting because that's one more cost associated with processing.
Yeah, right. So because the grade was really low. So the grade of the gold in that mine used to be really high, but it's about 50 years old, 60 years old mine. So the grade is going lower and lower. And that time it was about 1 gram, 1.1 gram per ton. That was the grade, which is not bad, but still it's not, you cannot just, they couldn't do any heap leaching. You cannot use cyanide as a heap leaching. It has to be a tank leaching or vat leaching.
Interesting.
So they did concentration, and then from the concentration, they did cyanide leaching. For some of that, they did some gravity separation as well. For some
So
of the gold, they had the gold
it was a
room.
free milling ore then. It
Yeah.
had free milling aspects. It could be gravity concentrated with water.
Yeah, some of that they use actually gravity concentration. So they had some gold really large that they did gravity concentration. So it was a full combination of all different type of processes.
So the gold was in different. It was fine and it was coarse. It was
Yeah,
fine and coarse.
exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, that's good experience.
Yeah, that
to
was
get
a
all
great,
of that there.
exactly. And then I started liking really on the process side, not on the mining side, mostly on the process. And my career was focused on designing, implementing different processes. So I call myself, I believe, a process engineer. So
Process engineer. So, what prompted you to going into this field? Was there family, or was it like a desire, an inner desire to enter into this particular field, or circumstances? What led you?
yeah, that's a great question, actually. So back in Iran, when I was 18 years old, going to university, you had to compete with, I believe at that time it was, 4 million students. So it was an exam. And we did have two different type of universities, government universities for free, really good universities. And then you have some private universities. You had to pay for that. So I competing in that, and based on my ranking, which was about 1,000 or 2,000, I selected a couple of majors, and I got mining engineering in my hometown. And I say, okay, let's try it. That was it. So it was. I didn't have that much of idea about mining at that time. So I was actually at that time I was all about computer coding. But I got to mining and I started loving it, So it was amazing. So
Interesting.
I believe
new
mining,
challenge, huh?
mining is inevitable. You have to do mining. All
Absolutely.
these renewable energies, all this future that we see, it's impossible.
Don't
without
tell the
mining.
environmentalists that mining is required to meet these.
That's the piece of the puzzle that they seem to miss.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
the mining portion and how
Oh,
much
it's-
time and money is involved.
Right now, for example, all these lithium-ion batteries.
Right.
They have lots of supply chain problems. It's because of lack of enough mining.
Correct.
So, but my vision, especially with our company and PH7, is we know that mining is inevitable, but we have to do mining in a responsible way. We have to do mineral extraction, mineral processing in a responsible way, and it's possible. We just change the way that we do it, and the way that we don't harm environment, we don't harm the earth. And I believe it's doable, achievable. We shouldn't do the same thing that we have been doing for the last 200 years, 300 years. Why we should do the same thing? So let's be innovative, creative, and we know that we have to do mining, but let's do it in a safe way,
In a sustainable
way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
That is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah. So
Well, I think the work that you're doing is important. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your company as you say, it's a startup. As things develop and you're able to come into the marketplace with your business plan and your marketing materials. So we're waiting to hear and see when this occurs for you.
Yeah.
It's probably premature right now, but this year sometime we're going to see something.
Yeah, so we are scaling up our process from the prototype to a pilot plant.
Good.
And the pilot plant is a small pilot plant, but we can start generating some revenue through the pilot plant, processing some materials. Our main focus right now is secondary materials, different type of materials from hydrogen fuel cell, catalyst, chemical catalyst, auto catalyst, everything. So we just tested everything.
All in North America?
Right now, our main focus is North America
Okay.
because it's easier for us. We have access easier to the materials, but we are working with companies in Europe as well. We received some samples from there, especially on the hydrogen with Europe. Actually,
Good.
it's so the future of hydrogen is mostly in the Europe. So we do some testing with those materials as well. Iridium. It's really interesting and looking forward actually to increase the capacity as soon as possible. So the capacity that we're going to have with this pilot plant is about 100 kilo per day, a small pilot plant.
Right.
Then we increase the capacity by end of this year, early next year to a 1 ton per day capacity. of the raw materials. And hopefully we can increase the capacity by next year and next 2 years to 10 tons, 20 tons, 50 tons a day of different supplies. That's on our recycling side.
Right.
On the mining, we're not going to process anything ourselves. So on the mining side, we're trying to find partners that we can be partner with them and license our technology to them. They can use the technology in their existing infrastructures.
Of course, yeah.
So with a minimum capex investment, we just add our solvent or chemistry to the system that they have.
Well, give us an example of what type of mining operation could benefit from your technology.
Yeah, so the main focus right now that we have in the mining is the copper mines. So copper sulfide mines, and they don't have any option. The only option that they have, there is no chemistry out there. Sulfide, they have to do concentration. From the concentration, they have
Copper
to ship
sulfide
it.
ores.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And they have to ship it overseas to smelters. So shipping cost is crazy. So from Chile, they have to ship it to Japan to concentrate. So what we're offering is, instead of doing concentration, instead of doing sending it to smelters, you can be a copper cathode producer in-house in the mine. So we process the ore, we replace both the smelting and concentration, and we can extract the copper
So
from
you're
the
going to replace the smelting or the concentration, the smelting, and the transportation costs.
Exactly.
So that's
huge.
That's our goal and I believe it's going to save them lots of money, save lots of carbon footprint, save lots of energy, and it's going to be in a sustainable way we can extract the copper. And so this is really interesting about our process in the copper as well, that one of our byproduct that we generate oxidant for the copper extraction is hydrogen. And we can capture that hydrogen as well. And we can use it as a fuel for the mine in the future when the technology is available over there. So we can have a closed loop system of using just green hydrogen to fuel haul trucks in the mine as well.
The next
and that's
10
a
years
byproduct.
will be very interesting.
Wow,
won't
yeah.
it?
That's a win-win right
Yeah.
there.
But I can't see it's going to happen really soon. It's just mining changes. They are slow. They are
And things take
conservative,
time.
but it takes time.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5 years. I hope in 5 years we have something with a mine in Chile or northern BC in Canada. I hope that we have something.
So how'd you find your way into the IPMI? What do you see as a benefit with this organization?
Yeah, so on the recycling side, we are focusing on precious metals, platinum, palladium, rhodium, iridium, ruthenium, and connections here in IPMI to learn as much as possible.
Yeah, networking is huge.
Yeah.
And we are learning. That's my first IPMI conference I'm attending.
Great.
Meeting lots of amazing people, knowledgeable people like yourself, Ed. And I love it. People that has the knowledge, the background in chemistry, in metallurgical background, and I love it. I really loved it. That to see that much of knowledgeable people in the same room, that's amazing. So
it is eye-opening when you look around the room and you realize the companies that are represented and the knowledge base that they have collectively in the room is hundreds of years of knowledge base.
collect.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
It's a unique organization in that respect.
It is.
It really is. Are you members of any other trade organizations or primary mining organizations?
No, I'm a member of Canadian Mining Engineering, and I'm actually attending PDAC today. I have to go back to PDAC. It's the largest mining conference in Toronto, Canada. Yeah.
Well, that's not that far from Orlando.
Yeah, not bad. It's a 3.5
3.5 hour flight,
so
right?
it's good. Yeah, it's not bad. I had no complaint. It's way better than flying. They're going to fly here from Vancouver to here. That was that was a nightmare. Yeah, that was a full day flight. So
we know we know what West Coast to Florida is like.
So
Absolutely.
it was an amazing experience, to be honest with you. It was really good. I loved it. Lots of really good people, networking, and hopefully through this we can.
Well, there's
accelerate
so many
the
events. There's so many seminars that you can attend, and then there's mixers, and then there's and they just go for hour after hour, and then different sponsors, so you can weave your way through. But I don't have the stamina anymore to attend all of these after hours events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night was actually really nice.
Nice.
The after hours event that they
That's
did. The
great.
music was great.
good, huh?
Yeah,
You-
it was
you,
really good. It was
Oh,
really
that's
fun.
great.
Cut a rug out there, huh? You were dancing,
Not a good dancer.
Showing
I'm not a
off
good dancer.
your moves?
Yeah. No, just no. Forget about that. Just enjoy listening to music. That's it.
Well, that's good too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
that
everybody
was
can
good.
appreciate good music, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
No, that was great. Anyway, altogether, it's I really impressed with this conference.
With the organization.
Yeah, I will be here, I believe, every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, and
Even-
that's why we
yeah.
come every year because you know we've got relationships with people that we've established, and
Absolutely.
we do enjoy the seminars. There's a lot of opportunities to learn, and you know, even when you go into the exhibit hall, sometimes there's more exhibitors than there are this year. Appreciate them coming and setting up, and giving us all an opportunity to see what they provide. I just think that you know every well they do a winter, and then they do a symposium and the general conference, and there's also the European chapter as well, and they hold a couple of events. I think recently there was one in Ireland, and then there's one coming up in Portugal,
yeah, Portugal.
Interesting.
all under the IPMI. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good organization.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you making time for us today and coming
I
and
really
speaking
enjoyed
with us.
talking with you. It was amazing. Thank you for arranging this
Yeah.
and having me here. That was great.
All right.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you again and getting your updates in the future.
Sure. Definitely. More than happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.